another video on the channel. We're back on GT Sport and we're back with the FIA manufacturers round 4 driving at Dragon Trail. You can see in the Group 4 cars. This is the qualifying, and again, as per usual, I'm going to get out straight away. Disaster pretty much struck in this race, and it's nothing to do with the car, to be brutally honest. The car was actually okay-ish for this track, and I actually did, everything was going really well, to be brutally honest. So we're going to jump straight on board now pretty much for the qualifying lap. This was my out lap. Obviously straight away I had 2 drivers in front of me, and what I wanted to do straight away in the qualifying was pick up that slipstream and stay in it for as much as possible, so that on my actual lap it was just going to give me maybe a 10th or 2 boost. In my practice sessions I was able to hit full fuel at 45.2, and then once I got the fuel down, and on my last stint, on my last run, I was able to get to the 44.9, something like that, 44.8. I was just able to creep into like the late 44.8. But I did, if I really hooked up a lap, I may have got it a bit faster, but I felt like the aim was to get a 45.0 or faster. That was the aim for this qualifying. As you can see, they're just trying to stick with the slipstream of these drivers in front of me on the out lap. I actually hit the wall there, as I wasn't really concentrating, but luckily I think he backed off a little bit because he wanted to give himself space to the driver in front, and that helped me out at this point, because now I'm in the perfect range to pick up a little bit of slipstream, and then he's picking up the car in front slipstream, so I'm not going to gain massively on him. All this is going to do is boost me a couple of miles per hour down the straight. But then you've got to always remember, it's a tricky one when you're doing this, because you then need to like judge the amount of extra braking distance you're going to need. So going into turn 1, you've got to be a bit more cautious on your braking, and you're going to see I actually brake a little bit too late, because I'm carrying 3-4 miles per hour extra to what I normally would be. You can see I actually missed the apex ever so slightly, but got away with it. Ran a little bit wide through this corner to be a bit more gentle on the throttle than what I would have liked, but again, picking that slipstream up now, and kind of got away with that. And this is actually helping me out now quite a lot, because the corners of this car isn't particularly strong, but it's reasonably okay on the straights. It's not the strongest car on the straights. You know, you can visually see that. You've got the car in front of me is the Evolution, one of the better handling cars, and it's actually I'm not gaining massively on the straights. It's just through the corners I'm struggling a little bit, as the Evo in front of me actually makes a mistake there. I tried to cut that corner ever so slightly and got a little bit of a loose rear, and so far I've probably been about 2 tenths, maybe a tenth and a half down on the optimal lap, but everything's going okay. You know, picking that slipstream up, which is helping me from what it would be if I didn't have no slipstream. So this was looking quite good at this stage, and I actually got quite a good exit and entry off that corner and gained a little bit of time. And again, I'm picking that slipstream, and he's picking up the slipstream with the M4 in front of him. And this was actually, I was quite enjoying this, because this was just helping me out massively, all this. And I had done quite a fair bit of practice within the time trial, so I was fairly confident for this race. I felt like I'd done enough to try and get a good result, especially with this new view change. One thing I will say, it feels like the SLS has got a bit of a stronger front end now. I've changed this view, and it's something I pick up on at so many cars with this view change. Just seems a little bit stronger in terms of its change of direction now, so hopefully that will help me out in other races. You can see there I actually managed to go over the line on the outlap into P1, and I kept that P1 all the way to the last stint when everyone was on their last stints, you know, their real flying laps when they've got the lower fuel. You can see now we're going to jump on board when obviously going in the pits. You can see I'm still in P1, and I was really happy at this stage because there were some fast drivers in this lobby. There was an issue with the top 24 stars race and pretty much a lot of the 9 o'clock races, which meant that this was actually a second split race, because it's frustrating, because I would have actually been in that other race, but they all got disconnected anyway. You had to be over a 72,000 DR to get in the top split race, and that just shows you pretty much what happened with the top 24 stars race, because everyone went for that race. And as you can see there, this was my final lap that was going to be obviously with the low fuel, the brand new tyres, and luckily again I just started to pick up a slipstream. You can see it there. Managed to get into this car's slipstream. However, I don't think this driver was quite as fast as the driver I was chasing. You can see there the driver I was chasing before, actually in P3, and this guy in front of me didn't quite have the speed, so I was I started to catch up a little bit more there. I was picking up quite a big slipstream, and unfortunately for him, he hasn't got a slipstream, so I was going to gain quite fast. So I had to be kind of cautious how much I was gaining in certain places. So I was trying to be tactical in a way, just so I was picking up the slipstream as much as possible on the straights. You see, trying to drive smoothly as much as I could through the corners. Going through this corner now, going into 5th gear early because I've got that slipstream to carry a little bit more speed, trying to get a really wide entry into that corner, and I really hooked that up, got on the power nice and early. And you're going to see the difference in the first sector from the previous lap when I missed the apex a bit. A 10th and a half up straight away. But then going through this corner now, didn't quite get the car in as much as I would have liked there. Not too bad, jumped over the curb, and at this point I think I'm probably still about a 10th and a half to 2 tenths up on the previous lap. But now I'm picking up quite a strong slipstream off the car in front, and I didn't know what to do here now. I felt like I was either faster and I needed to get ahead, so I braked. I actually braked really early to try and take a really tight line, and you can see, took it too tight to try and undercut him somehow, and now I'm stuck behind him. So he lost quite a bit on that corner where I tried to take a weird line. You can visually see I lost about 10th and a half to 2 tenths just on that one corner, and now I'm stuck right behind him and I can't see a thing. And I just tried to throw it in there and guess, and unfortunately couldn't really see anything, unsighted, and ended up hitting the wall. So that was my final lap done. A little bit annoyed because there was potential to get a little bit faster, and ended up starting P4 when obviously the drivers improved their lap. But P4 with some very fast drivers, with cars that are probably a little bit better for this track, you know, it's more suited to this type of track than the SLS. The SLS is not the weakest car at this track. I think it's probably in the middle range. There is the faster cars, but it's not the worst car. I think the Megane was quite weak at this track, to be brutally honest. But you can see there, starting P4, I was happy with that 45.0. A 1 minute 45.0 at this track. It was about 4 tenths off my time trial pace, so I was happy with that. It could have been better, but you know, starting P4, it was a massive improvement from what's been happening in other FIA races. So I was feeling really good about this race. I knew I had the consistency and the pace for the race because I'd done a practice race. Everything had gone well. I was hitting low 45s pretty much every lap. Obviously when the tyres started to fade a little bit, it was going up to mid 45s to late 45s, but overall it was going really well, and I was pretty confident with getting a good result. As you can see there, going through the grid and just going through some very big names in this. Because of what happened with the top 24 stars, everyone tried to enter this lobby. So even with this race, this is pretty much like a normal top split, but then the proper top split actually got disconnected again. There was massive issues on this game last night, and I really think they need to sort this out, because the game's getting a little bit unstable, and I think a lot of it's to do with actually the PSN network rather than GT Sports actual servers. I think a lot of the issue is with that. As you can see, there was only 17 people in this race. 18 joined the lobby. I think 20 joined the lobbies. Two or three got disconnected. 2 got disconnected before the qualifying, and 1 got disconnected during the qualifying. So it is a real big shame that a lot of this is going on. There's obviously some sort of issue with the servers on the PSN at the moment. You see, starting the race, main aim now was to just try and really hold on to some of these drivers in front of me and try and make up some places if possible. A top 5 result in the Mercedes at this track would have been a really good result. As you can see, got a massive slipstream down the straight off the Mazda in front of me. Obviously not the strongest car down straight, but decided to back out of that move. Felt like it was going to be a bit too risky, so backed out of it and just decided to sit behind them. The Evolution behind me gets a run up on me and actually has a little look there, but unfortunately has to back off as I got quite a good exit from the curb, as I'm now obviously just trying to push as hard as I can, stay with the cars in front and see if I can pick up a slipstream and just hope everyone gets through these first corners cleanly. Ran a little bit wide coming onto the curb there, but got away with that. You can actually afford to run a little bit wide there and actually gain on the exit speed. You can see the Corvette in front, one of the Corvettes in front, I think it was P2, the connection bar was red, so he was lagging all over the track, and I don't think P3 had any idea where his car actually was. It's quite frustrating. I don't know whether he was streaming or something, but his connection was awful, and it wasn't nice because you have no sort of confidence in where he's going to be on the track, whether you can overtake him or not. I'm not too sure if he was streaming or if he just had internet issues, but if he was streaming, I'd say it'd be a good idea to not do that in the future. But you know, because it just causes issues if your connection can't cope with it. But you can visually see he's all over the track, and P3 has no idea where to make any sort of overtake on him. But I get quite a big slipstream off of P3, and I decide I'm going to go for a move it on the inside, brake late, take a really tight line into the corner. He goes for the wide line to try and get a good exit from the corner, get that move made, and I've got myself up into P3. So the first lap has gone really well. A great start into P3, and now trying to pick up the slipstream of that Corvette in front of me. Luckily the Mazda isn't the strongest car down the straight, so he's not able to pick up my slipstream, and actually make a move on myself. As you can see there, I'm in the slipstream just about, and now I've got to brake a little bit earlier than usual for this corner because I've got that slipstream. Look at the connection on P2. His car is just going, look at the red bar. He's just going everywhere all over the track. I have no confidence when someone like that is in front of me. As you see, I'm having to go a little bit defensive as a Mazda's having a look up at the right hand side, but he can't make that move. I've gone defensive and then going down for the braking zone, and I got a massive whack from behind. And as I hit the wall, my force feedback disappeared. I had no force feedback now. So again, disaster has struck, and it wasn't my fault again. It's getting quite frustrating this because it's nothing I can do about this, and my force feedback totally went, and there was no point me showing you the rest of the race. I'm just going to go through to the highlight of what happened there. You can visually see this driver behind, he gets hit by a P4, 5 I think it is, and then he then rebounds into myself, and I'm pretty much out of the racing. See, I'm down into P15 or 16 I think it was, and have another little look at it from the onboard of the car that actually hit. You can see we're going defensive. We managed to hit the line pretty much okay, and then he just doesn't brake early enough. He just goes clean into the back of that car, hits me, and that was my race wreck. You can visually see, look at my lap times, how just all over the place. I just couldn't keep any consistency, and I just wanted to skip through the race because I just didn't want to. I didn't even want to commentate on this race with how bad and horrible the car was to drive with no force feedback. So utterly disappointing race. And again, it's more frustrating because I had potential at that race. The car was actually okay. The view was helped out massively in terms of the ability to drive that SLS through fast corners and change the direction. I felt I could push it a little bit harder, and I felt like I did everything right. I qualified in P4. I had potential to do faster again, obviously from the lap that I've shown you. Got a little bit out, couldn't see through the corner on my actual fastest lap because I caught that car up. Did everything right on the lap 1, got a clean start, went to make a move, decided to back off, then went for the move to put myself into P3, into the top 3, and then lap 2, start lap 2, disaster strikes, and starting to feel like this car is absolutely cursed. Everything that could go wrong with me, for me in the FIA Manufacturer Series is going wrong for me. I've now done 2 races in the Nations, and both of them have been okay. It's just so strange. I can't blame the car because the car wasn't the worst it could be there. It was actually okay. You know, to qualify P4 in a high rated racing with good drivers in there like that, you can't really. I can't blame the car. It's just circumstances that happen like that can't be predicted, and I can't control other cars hitting myself. So massively disappointed. I'm going to upload the Nations race tomorrow. That was a bit better, a bit more. Bit better to get some okay points. It wasn't the best race for myself, but it was an okay race considering that, again, it's not a track I like. I don't like that track that was on the Nations race. I've never driven the car that I used, and I didn't do any race practice. I just did a bit of time trial and just jumped on it. Didn't have a clue about strategy during the race in that Nations race. I didn't have an absolute clue what to try and go without pitting or to pit or not. I just did it as I was driving, but it was a fun race. I enjoyed that race, and I'll have that race uploaded tomorrow. It's just a shame that these races are going like this in the Manufacturer Series. It's just I can't really do much. I think I'm going to do something to the car because this is nothing against the person that's done the livery for this car, but since I changed the livery to this car, my races have just gone disaster. So I'm just going to start afresh with a new livery. I know some people are going to say that's not going to make any difference. It might not, but it's just I need to change something. I need to, whether it'll be a placebo effect of just making you think something. I need to change the livery. So I'm going to pick some I've picked some liveries that I'm going to use, and they're going to be on the car for the next race. More replica based liveries because I want to use something a little bit different and just try something else out because this season just turning into an absolute nightmare. I don't think it could have gone any worse in terms of luck and everything, but hopefully there's going to be some stronger races. I'm going to try my best to get some results because I still feel there's a chance I can get in that top 24 final race, and without them having their race, it's kind of given me even more chance. But I've got to literally, from race 5, 6 and 7, I've got to be 2,000 plus scoring rounds, and I'm going to try my best to do that. Hopefully I can get some good results. I feel confident in some of the races that are going to be coming up. Let's just see what happens, and let's see what happens with a new livery on the car. just to see if it gives me any luck, because I've not had any so far in the manufacturer series. It's just so strange that I'll go into this series and the luck just go into the nations and it's there more. It's just baffling, but I'll do my best to get some better results, and I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. I apologise for it being a bit shorter than normal. Not really much I could do. Obviously the force feedback issue and just more bad luck. So let's hope that it improves. I've got the Nations race that I will be uploading tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. Click the notification button so you don't miss any future videos. I do upload every single day, and I'll be back very soon. Thanks again for watching.